and we warmly welcome you to this very special interview with Senior IPS Officer of Delhi Police, Chhaya Sharma. Chhaya Sharma ji needs no introduction. She's known as the Nirbhaya officer. She's been recently appointed as a special CP of Training Division of Delhi Police. She has served in various capacities as DCPs of District, Joint CPs of District, Joint CP Eastern Range, Joint CP EOW before. In the training division, she is heading a special committee that was formed by Delhi CP Sanjay Arora as the centre announced its 3 new criminal bills. The committee is training the Delhi police officers on the 3 new laws. She came up with this unique idea of designing journals that will teach the Delhi police officers on the new law, make it more compact, easy and clear their concepts. Today she's going to talk to us about how the Delhi police officers are being trained and how these journals are being used during the training. Importantly, the MHA recently appreciated this unique step of the Delhi Police, her idea as well as the idea of coming up with this committee to train the Delhi Police officers. Welcome to this interview, ma'am.
Thank you, Manjula.
Ma'am, firstly, we would like to start with knowing the 3 new laws that have replaced the age-old Code of Criminal Procedure and Indian Penal Code.
So see, once our work started, the moment the new laws were notified. Yes. I mean, notified as in the Gazette notification saying that now it's not a draft bill, now it is a proper act. So our work started from there, and it was like about, I think, 25th of December, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And then only recently we came to know that from the 1st of July they will be applicable all over India. But once we came to know that the laws will be coming into force, like everybody knew, and while the bills were being passed, we had draft copies and we were looking at it, and CP sir called me and told me that I would be heading a committee, and then he said that I could choose people who would actually make in the form of the new Sahita and the new Adhiniyam, so that it becomes police friendly, police friendly in the sense that the fear of change is not there. So having said that, we started studying it, and these 3, this Bharatiya Nyaya Sahita, Bharatiya Nyaya Suraksha Sahita, and the other one, the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. These 3 are now going to replace the IPC, the CrPc, and the Indian Evidence Act. Now, the Indian Evidence Act, the changes are very few, not many. But what we needed to do was, like a lot of people, were having the old sections in the mind. So we needed to tell them that from the old section this is the new section. And what has changed drastically is the introduction of digital evidence. So now there will be more use of digital evidence and more use of how the IO would need to learn how to procure digital evidence, how to record it, and then how to make it a part of your charge sheet and your CD, and then also to preserve the integrity of the thing, because in the name of AI, in the name of deepfake, you have so many things, so you have to protect that aspect also.
Yes.
So having said that, there is a major shift if you look at the earlier laws and this particular law, that just for the victims. Now even the definition of victim has been widened, like it is not just the person who is the actual victim, but even the families, even a person who is close to the victim can also be treated like a victim. So so a lot of things, and how it is women oriented, citizen friendly. Like they have tried to also bring in the concept of zero FIR, which was earlier not there as part of the statute, and also so many other things which were earlier maybe in the form of we were following them because they were judicial verdicts, and they were part of SOPs of police. Like in Delhi we were having this EFIR for a certain number of cases. Now they've made EFIR possible for everything. So like that, they have a lot of changes they have brought in, and the major change that has occurred which has happened in the CrPc part, which is the BNSS counterpart. So BNSS is tried to bring in the change for the IO, so that it becomes easy for the victim, it becomes easy for the courts, and it also becomes very clear, so that the role of the forensic experts increases, the role of other things, and for the IO it becomes, though there is a technical aspect to it, but it becomes much more easier to now prove the thing in the court of
Yes.
law.
Yes.
So I think in that aspect, if done professionally, it will be a big change. And they have tried to make the laws easier in the sense that people and the IOs will understand it in a different sense. It is less towards being punitive, but more towards bringing justice to, for all.
True.
So that is a very big change, and a lot of aspects, some aspects have been deleted, which were very age old and which have
Yeah.
no relevance right now, or some sections have been totally deleted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what is interesting is that they have got a separate section, a separate chapter on women related things. And
Yeah.
women related, like post Nirbhaya, there was a criminal amendments, which had brought a big change in the way women crimes were being treated. Now there is a big change, in the way, female victims will be viewed, how they will be made more comfortable. Like for example, they have made it mandatory that it will be only, it was earlier only by a way of order.
Yeah.
But now it is by a form in the part of a statute that only a lady officer will deal
Yeah.
with them. And then how statements are to be recorded. That if it is a statement of a victim of a rape, then she will have to be recorded digitally. So a lot of other things that have been brought in to make them comfortable, and like they can sit in the safety of their homes, and she can give a complaint to the police station.
Yes.
Through an app, or maybe a EFIR, what they will call. So it'll be easier.
Right.
So the number of visits to the police station can be reduced. So a lot of other things have been introduced, and because there will be such of digital evidence, the chances of one negating the same, that ye to nahi tha, or the chances of someone misinterpreting the evidence will become less, I feel.
Right.
And because now if you're having everything recorded on camera, so even in the minds of the judiciary, while they're taking a decision, it'll be very clear that what is black and what is white, and whether the evidence is vital, and how then it depends a little bit on the talent of the IO, how he would stitch the evidence together to prove what the case is, the crime is. So I think to that extent, BNS has made things very easy. There is a lot of change in procedures. Now they also, like for example, they want an ASI level guide in every police station or in districts.
Okay.
And not police station, but at the district level, that he should, all the people who have been arrested, whatever the details, he should be appointed, and this person should be giving free information to everybody.
Okay.
So the issue of like, I don't know where my child has been taken.
Yes.
I don't know where he's been. So it is now. So these kind of changes they have brought in.
Yes.
And then there are a number of changes they have been, which are citizen friendly. So all those things have now made it. If the whole gamut of things are seen, they are very well knitted into the brought in to make sure that the laws are pro the justice.
Yeah.
So that is a very big aspect, and it is less like that earlier we were having the IO need to do the proving and this thing, but now with the help from the digital evidence, I am very sure that there is much less hard work that will be put in once you master the art of doing it. Of course, that procedure one will have to learn. The last part will be the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. It is more a copy of the IPC. However, it is more to do with the kind of like it's just like what we need is a table, like what was 302 has become now 103, or like 101, or like now what is snatching, for example, now is a separate section. Women who were earlier like who would false pretense of marriage, so that has been a separate section. So a lot of new sections have been brought in.
Sure.
So accordingly the penal provisions have also different. So similarly one has to look at it from that aspect, that now the changes with the new laws, pro victim, pro policing, and pro justice.
Pro justice.
That is all I can say. And I earlier I was also as an officer thinking that how will the new law change and how will we all accept the change. I think what we have tried to do is that we've brought in a lot of tables, so where the old and the new can be matched. So if you remember the old one and you want the comparative, that can be done. Number of cases the punishment has been enhanced.
Yes.
Like from fine it has become punishment, or from 3 years it has become 7 years. So all those things, those finer nuances has made the laws more stringent also.
Stringent.
There are timelines which not only we have to follow as IOs, but also the courts and other
Yes.
things. We have to now ensure that the timelines are very strict.
Right.
So if we don't follow the timeline, either we have to get permission or what, how, via media we will find out to handle. But if the strict timelines are followed, there will be delivery of
Yes.
justice in a
Yes.
time-bound manner. So that also they have taken care of.
True, true. Very well put, ma'am. Can you tell us how did the training sessions begin? How did you design it? How will they work?
Like having studied the new Adhiniyam and the Sahita, I realized that it will be a very onerous task for
Yeah.
us, especially if you look at the Thana level. We have head constables and ASIs also dealing with sometimes very heinous cases. So and there is a gamut of the fear psychosis is there, that how will we approach the new law. So what we did was I thought that let us make booklets for them which are easy to read, easy to understand, only pertaining to the change in the law, and also pertaining to those aspects which are for regular daily work.
True.
Like for example, in a thana, what a police officer needs to do from morning till evening, those aspects which are affected, and those are mentioned in the Adhiniyam or the Nyaya Sanhita, those we must take care of, and we will focus on them. Because if I tell them to study a whole book of 3 laws, then it becomes a humongous task. And then connecting the dots becomes difficult, because what happens is that you need to know your Indian Evidence Act, you need to know your CrPc, you need to IPC to finally connect the to do properly investigate and then connect the dots and take your charge sheet forward. So in this case also similar understanding is required. So what we did, sir was very kind, and he allowed us to have a committee, and we also had 4 lawyers to help us, who we told them to question us, because if we go wrong, and almost behave as devil's advocates. And this committee was formed like about 12-15 people, and we took people from all over the force. So there were sub inspectors and there were inspectors who some of them already had law background, and some of them were actually working SHOs. So those kind of people we took who worked in the field. So their knowledge about the previous law was very good. And then we told them, see, you have to understand that this has to be made for the lowest common denominator, who will be working as an investigator. So once the head constable understands how to give a case of theft, then obviously the SHO and the senior other echelons will not find it difficult to supervise or difficult to, so and the same understanding can percolate upwards or downwards, whichever way you want to. So keeping the concept of a head constable and ASI in mind and what they would be requiring, we designed 3 handbooks. So by the almost by the end of Jan, we had third week of Jan, we had the first draft ready, and we were able to for the purposes of you can see that the 3 booklets we've created, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam, and the most important, the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, because the most difficult part, the CrPc. So what we've tried to do here is that we have taken that part of the law which has changed, put it in bold in a box, and then we've explained that what new needs to be done. And then we've also added tables for easy reference, also for so that they understand. So there is a whole chapter on in Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam about digital evidence. So how do you make a hashtag value, how will you upload, how will you do those things. Now if one reads it, it becomes easy. And then we have now it was not possible for us that if we just told them to read it, then it will be difficult for them. So we thought that let's have classes, and first the idea was that we may give it to the district DCPs and we will tell them to run. But we thought that the committee was of the view that ऐसे पढ़ाई नहीं होगी, and we will have to remove the target IOs to a classroom session,
Yeah.
and at least for 5 days, so that they concentrate and then they learn, and then they can go in the field as a confident IO that they will be able to handle. So what we did was that we created these 3 booklets. We also took people from the districts.
Yes.
Their people who were I told the DCP, pick up people who would be interested in teaching. Later we will train them, and then we'll give them back to you so that they can clear all your doubts,
Yeah.
and train all your people.
Yes.
So what we had about 65 people, which we brought down to then 40. So these were training of trainers. This was sent to this was sent to they were sent to BPRND for training. There were training slots given to us by CDTI Ghaziabad and also by CAPT in Bhopal. So all those people we got these 65 odd people trained over there. In addition, the committee themselves took classes.
Okay.
So they were able. If I have made this booklet, I will be able to explain this booklet better.
Yes.
So they explained it first to the TOT, and they took it very nicely. They said, "No, it's come out very well. We will be able to explain it." So we encouraged them to make PPTs.
Okay.
So PowerPoint presentations explaining the same. So I can give the book to the person, and then there will be a PowerPoint presentation which will run. The PowerPoint presentation can be owned by the TOT. He can make it according to how he wants to teach. So among the TOTs, we asked them to divide themselves among 3 groups. Who will teach the Adhiniyam, Sakshi Adhiniyam, who will teach the BNSS, and who will teach the Bharatiya Nyaya Sahita.
Yes.
And once we did this, we had 4 groups. So we spoke with we requested CP sir, and we were allowed that for every we said let's do it phase wise. So first phase was 200 thanas.
Okay.
So we'll target them. So every thana, if you see that you have maximum 4-5 sub-inspectors and about 15 head constables inside who will actually be doing investigation. The rest of the work is being done by the other people.
Yeah.
So, and the SHO and the inspector investigation are mainly supervising these people's investigation needs. So we said let's target this audience plus the 2 guys who are entering in CCTNS in each thana.
Yes.
So like that we had a group of 20 IOs, 2 inspectors who will be supervising them, which includes the SHO and the inspector investigation, and the CCTNS entry boy.
True.
So these 24 people from each thana. So if there were 200 thanas, so we had comparatively as many number of people. So for example, Shahdra district has only 12 police stations, including the cyber police station.
Okay.
So we said if you have 12, then every one will give us 2 inspectors.
Okay.
Like so 24 people will take out from everywhere. So 24 into 12, then accordingly it becomes 288 like that. So that we had. So like for every, of course, like suppose he has 12, another one will have 15, somebody will have 13.
Yes.
So we said your number to decide. And this we divided, we said the whole number was coming to something close to 5,500. Okay. So we divided this number into 11 groups of 1100. Okay. And each week, we identified 4 multi-purpose halls. One was in Dwarka, one was in Wazirabad, one was in Jharoda Kala, and we took one auditorium from Barakhamba. Okay. So having taken that, we said, okay, fine, we will teach them over here. So because already our capacity in our training colleges was full, so we thought let us take these halls, and we took these halls, and these 40 people TOTs we divided in 4 groups. Okay. And then they started teaching. So we had sessions of 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour, 4 sessions of 1.5 hour. Okay. So which means that every day we would be approximately teaching them for 6 hours. So 2 tea breaks and 1 lunch break. And it will be over a week, so it will be 5 days. Okay. So 6 hours into 5 week would mean 30 hours. So 30 hours and 20 sessions. So and we divided the sessions among, say for example, if Adhiniyam can finish in 3 sessions, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha will take say maybe 6, and another one will also take 6. So like that we divided. Okay. We also gave them sessions for special classes. For example, there is an annexure in Bharatiya Adhiniyam about specifically explaining the digital evidence. Okay. So on that we have taken the a special class
Okay.
now, which added to like one session from there. So the instructor there teaches them how they have to pick up digital evidence, how they have to make a hashtag value, how they have to upload it to the server whenever that comes. So without waiting for infrastructure to be created, which was very much required for the application of the new laws, and without waiting for the actual the thing to take place, we said let's go ahead and whatever we have and whatever understanding we have, let's teach them.
Yes.
So what we did was also we created this additional booklet. It's a compendium of all those forms which have now been modified as per the new act.
Okay.
So there are a lot of notices which the IO sends. So there will be notices and there will be memos, arrest memos, search memos, forwarding letters, list of exhibits sent for examination to FSL.
Yes.
So according to the new law, how they would be modified, now they would be needing, now you can send a summon and warrant on WhatsApp also. So
Okay.
at the time of arresting a person or even during the care, at the time of investigation, you need to know the person's WhatsApp number or their email ID.
Yes.
So that we can then send the summon electronically, because
Yes.
now that has been made acceptable.
True.
Similarly, we also thought that let's the case study method is considered usually the best way to teach, but since we may not have time over here, we thought let's create a compendium of scenarios which are basically 20 case studies, 20 case studies of simple cases like a simple murder or a rape with POXO, or so we've identified these scenarios. And there's also a session, there is a scenario of a narcotics case, also Arms Act case. So now these 20 scenarios are what usually an IU deals on a general basis.
Yes.
You can complicate them, you can simplify them, but we've taken up a scenario and we said let's, for example, for the ease of understanding,
Yeah.
and for the let's have at least 20, because this can go on and on. I can have 100 scenarios,
True.
and which will all be unique.
Yes.
But let's start with 20. So we'll be coming up with another 20 in a month's time. So this was quite a challenge, because we had to make sure that we are not only telling them how to investigate a particular thing. For example, snatching is now a separate section.
Truly.
So how they will investigate it, what they will prove, and everything as per the new BNSS.
Yes.
Up to the level, to the time that they will file the charge sheets.
Yes.
So even dowry death cases or those other things which normally they will handle will change. So everything we have given. So 20 scenarios we have identified.
Yeah.
We are coming up with another book of 20 scenarios. The other challenge was getting them translated into Hindi.
Yeah.
Because the moment we went into Hindi translation, either we were getting very complicated Hindi, which our IOs will not understand again.
Yeah.
So I think by in a week's time we will be coming up with a Hindi version also,
Okay.
and we will be circulating it. So we have tried to do this. The now the this was the phase one. We were targeting the cutting edge IOs, even from units like crime, special cell, EOW.
Okay.
So phase one would be all the thanas,
Okay.
and all the units which are actually doing investigation.
Yes.
Now, for example, there will be certain units like DIU, District Investigation Unit, CAW cell, or some other units,
Right.
these special staff guys.
staff, yes.
So these four units which get left out. So we will cover these also in the phase one. So for the level of cutting edge IOs, our target was 5,500 first phase, part A. Part B was these DIU, CAW cell, and whoever gets left out
Yes.
because of some issue, maybe he has a court order, he has to appear in court, or there was some law and order. So we shifted that. So now our target was phase one should consist of 8,800 people, cutting edge IOs,
Okay.
across the board,
Okay.
and maximum number we could cover. And then this was for those IOs, but we need our senior officers also to learn.
True.
So we had a half day session for very senior officers along with the SHOs. That's NLU in tandem with NLU, and then we had a 3-day workshop.
Yes.
In which SHOs, ACPs, and DCPs were there. They were asked to freely ask questions and to challenge the professor who was teaching.
Okay.
So we had a list of FAQs, and a lot of interesting debates happened. Why and the why for of the why this law was created, what change will it bring, and even in the new law, if we are saying we'll do this, then what are the difficulties and challenges we will face?
Yes.
So at least it got them to start thinking. Then we also tied up with CGTI Ghaziabad, CAPT Bhopal,
Yes.
and with BPR&D, and some officers were sent, even senior officer like joint CP level, DCP level, were sent for training to these venues.
Okay.
Now, after they've all done training, we realized that even we now, after having gone 7 rounds of training for our staff, we feel that we are confident, and we've taken permission from CP to now start training course from 3rd April. We will start for senior officers.
Okay.
So in batches of 50 or 100, we will take them, and we will in STC Rajendra Nagar, and we will be training them on these laws. It will not be a 5-day course, because I think their uptake will be a little faster.
Okay.
So we will try to finish the course in a capsule manner in 3 days. We will also give a set of these 5 booklets to each one of them.
So will that include the DCPs and the joint CPs and all the senior officers?
Yes, all senior officers.
Okay.
So first phase will be the DCPs and additional DCPs and SHOs, because this itself is a very huge number.
Yes.
So once we finish that, then we will target the joint CPs and all. But at this level, I think if this is done, it will be good. It's a 3-day course. Then the Nayab courts, who are our people but posted in prosecution, they also we have included. So on the long weekend that we had on Good Friday, we called all of them. So about 700 plus people have participated, and they have received training from DPA. So instead of calling them to one place, we told each DCP to spare their conference hall, call all your Nayab courts there, and then we have given them a link, and my faculty has the training of trainers has taught them. So that has also been very successful. Then we also had the privilege of having 94 newly appointed MMs to come from the Judicial Academy, and they were at the Dwarka Academy with us for about 8-9 days. And we have also, in addition to what their curriculum was with the Delhi Police Academy, we have also tried to tell them about the new laws, and a copy of these 5 booklets have been given to them. So that was really appreciated. So maybe we thought that they will understand how the police will be functioning in the new law, and that will be that beginning for them and a beginning for us. And of course, from various forums we have said that we are open for suggestions. If anybody is willing to tell us what is wrong, what we can add, how we can subtract in these booklets, we are willing to do so. Right now, whatever suggestions we've been getting, phase wise we have been trying to improve. But I think these 5 booklets we've more or less freezed because it come out nice. The Hindi version will come in a week. And we are planning that maybe a couple of more books which we feel will be very good for the IOs, a practical user booklet kind of a thing. We will take out, in which instead of having them in separate this thing, we will combine. And we will say, okay, so if you have to investigate a case, this part of BNSS you will use, this part of BSA you will use, and this part of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita we will use. So that way we will be able to make it comfortable for them. But that is still in the pipeline. The second phase, what we will do is, we will then target, which is probably going to be the first week of March onwards up to July, the potential IOs. Like today, a guy may be posted in armed police, or he may be posted in security, or maybe in other units who are not doing investigation at this moment. So those people we will target, and some people must be in the offices and they are not there, but they are potential IOs because the day they will get posted to a thana or to a unit which is investigating, so we will target them. So again, my idea is to catch about 8,000 odd people. So we will have a very good number of people who will be trained by the beginning of July in the new laws. And then, of course, we have planned that once the third phase comes, we will have this tie-up with the NLU, that maybe the 3rd year or 4th year students can come and then train a larger bulk of our officers. So where we don't need that much of fine honing, but at the same what we need for these IOs, so that we can do. And then these TOTs we can then spread and later on give away to our respective districts. And then these TOTs can then become the beacons of for the knowledge, and then we have disseminated that part as a part of the third phase. So they can go back to the districts And the district DCP can make sure that which of the guys have been left out should be going and training with them.
Getting them
So
trained.
I think then that will become more decentralized.
Right.
Initially, we thought doing it in a centralized manner will at least bring the focus on these laws and what is required also, because they are new and they need a lot of understanding needs to go into that. The last part that we are attempting to do as part of training is to make small videos which are easy to go through, podcasts, so that people who have not been able to attend or want a revision, or people who come to us for a short duration for a course, they can look at these videos of choice or small topics and then learn from there.
Okay.
So this will be like a audio visual this thing. So we've started, we've just made 2. I think by end of 15 we will have about 12 odd videos with us.
Okay.
So from
Just
there,
self-explainers,
yes, self-explanatory. And once the video is on, and we'll try to circulate it also, or put it on an app like Nippon, where people can access it.
Yes.
So then it becomes easier.
True. DCP Uma Shankar, you are heading the training division over here. आप हमें बताइए कि ये जो ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है टू द पुलिसमैन न्यू क्रिमिनल लॉज को लेकर, वो ट्रेनिंग कब कैसी चल रही है, कब से शुरू हुई और कितने मॉड्यूल्स अभी तक ली चुके हैं?
ये एक्चुअली ये जो अभी ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है, ये न्यू क्रिमिनल लॉ को लेकर के है, जिसमें हमारी जो तीनों क्रिमिनल लॉ हैं, भारतीय न्याय संहिता, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता और भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम, इन तीनों को लेकर के है। इसमें हमने अलग अलग मॉड्यूल बनाए हैं। मॉड्यूल ये है कि जैसे अलग अलग लेवल के जो ऑफिसर्स हैं उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट अलग है। जैसे हमारे आईओज हैं तो उनके हिसाब से आईओज की ट्रेनिंग डेवलप की गई है। एसएचओज और एसीपीज के लिए डेवलप की गई है ट्रेनिंग। डीसीपी एंड एफओ के लिए अलग अलग ट्रेनिंग करी गई है और इसके हिसाब से ट्रेनिंग भी दिलाया गया है। इनिशियल दौर में डीसीपी एंड एफओ के लिए हाफ डे का वर्कशॉप कराया गया था। इसी ढंग से एसएचओ और एसीपी के लिए 3 दिन का वर्कशॉप कराया गया और अभी प्रेजेंटली हम आईओज के लिए वीकली वर्कशॉप कर रहे हैं। वीकली इनके ट्रेनिंग सेशन ऑर्गेनाइज करें। इसमें वीक में 5 दिन का मंडे टू फ्राइडे इनका ट्रेनिंग कराया जाता है। इसमें मंडे टू फ्राइडे में ये है कि 3 दिन तक तो हम प्योरली लॉ इनको बताते हैं, जो नए चेंजेस हुए हैं उनको, और अगले 2 दिन तक जो इनके प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट्स हैं कि जैसे भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता में जो चेंजेस हुए हैं, इसके वजह से हमारे आईयूज कैसे कॉल को हैंडल करेंगे, कैसे वो फॉरेंसिक एक्सपर्ट को बुलाएंगे, इसी ढंग से जो साक्ष्य अधिनियम में चेंजेस हुए हैं कि जैसे कैसे हैश वैल्यू निकालना है और ये वो कैसे अपने डाटा को प्रिजर्व रखेंगे, कैसे एविडेंस को प्रिजर्व रखेंगे, ये सारी चीज़ें उनको प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट बताई जाती है ताकि उनको थ्योरी के साथ साथ जो प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट से उनका नॉलेज हो और वो अपने जब 1 जुलाई से नए लॉ लागू हो जाएंगे तो वो स्मूथली काम कर सके।
अभी तक का कितना पार्टिसिपेशन आ चुका है सर?
अभी तक लगभग ये हुआ है कि हमारे पास 5,500 आईयूज की ट्रेनिंग हो चुकी है और 2,000 अन्य लेवल पे, जैसे 5,500 आईयूज हो गए। इसके बाद लगभग 500 के आसपास हम जो डाटा एंट्री ऑपरेटर हैं जो सीसीटीएनएस पे काम करते हैं उनके हैं। 800 लोग जो नायब कोर्ट ऑफ प्रोसिक्यूशन हैं इनकी ट्रेनिंग हो गई है। 300 से ज़्यादा जो मतलब हमारे पास इंस्पेक्टर्स हैं, उन जो एसएचओ ग्रुप में काम कर रहे हैं, लगभग उनकी ट्रेनिंग हो गई है। सिमिलरली एसीपीज भी लगभग 200 एसीपीज की ट्रेनिंग कराई गई है और सीनियर लेवल पे तो अलग से डीसीपी एंड उनकी भी ट्रेनिंग कराई गई
जी, जो आज से शुरू हुई है एडिशनली।
हाँ, पहले भी वर्कशॉप कराया गया था थ्रू एनएलयू के थ्रू। अब आज से जो शुरू कराया गया है इसमें जो दिल्ली पुलिस की फैकल्टी है वो अलग से करा रही है।
सर किस तरह का रिस्पॉन्स आपको दिखा उन लोगों का जो पार्टिसिपेशन रहा है, कैसा रिस्पॉन्स मिला आप लोगों को?
रिस्पॉन्स बहुत अच्छा रहा है। अभी तक जो कोर्सेज कराए गए हैं इसका सेटिस्फैक्ट्री लेवल बहुत ही अच्छा है। हमने फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म रखा है तो फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म के हिसाब से जो हमें अभी फीडबैक मिल रहा है वो बहुत अच्छा है। प्लस आउटसाइड दिल्ली पुलिस भी देखें तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा रिमार्केबल रहा है, सब चारों ओर से सराहना मिली है। इसी टीम ने जो अभी हमारे मास्टर ट्रेनर हैं उन्होंने मिल करके और एक कमेटी बनाई थी स्पेशल सीपी मैम ने के अंडर सीपी सर ने, उस कमेटी ने एक 3 बुकलेट बनाई है, उसकी बड़ी सराहना हुई है। इसके अतिरिक्त जो अभी ट्रेनिंग हमारा मास्टर ट्रेनर से इनकी इतने ज़्यादा फीडबैक अच्छे रहे हैं कि दूसरी संस्थाएं भी हमें हमारे मास्टर ट्रेनर्स का डिमांड कर रही है ताकि उन जगहों पर ट्रेनिंग दे सके।
आप लोग वो लोग जाकर
जी, जैसे सीडीटीआई वगैरह से रिक्वेस्ट आया है कि वो हमें मास्टर ट्रेनर्स की लिस्ट दे ताकि वो इन फ्यूचर वो दूसरी संस्थाओं की ट्रेनिंग के दौरान इनका इस्तेमाल कर सकें।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर हमसे बात करने के लिए। थैंक यू।
Thank you.
Ma'am, I would also like to ask you one question besides the committee that you are heading, you have been an ace investigator. You understand investigations, and you have dealt with the most challenging case like Nirbhaya. So there is a whole change that you must have seen in all these years, right from the crime that takes place to the forensics to how the case unfolds and how it reaches the court. How do you think this training is going to aid a normal, an investigating officer?
See, the training is focused on enhancing the law aspect
Yes.
and making a police officer more professional.
Yes.
So, as a police officer, whether it is me or it is any other IO, the job is to do my act professionally.
Yes.
Now, how will I do it professionally if I don't know my law?
Yeah.
So I need to understand my law. So
Yeah.
my first focus was let them know the law and the final nuances which are involved in the law, that you have to do this is mandatory, this is not mandatory,
Yeah.
and how you will record it.
Yes.
Because like in any case, for example, whether it be a Nirbhaya case or it could be a very simple theft case,
Yeah.
how an IO writes the story, because
Yes,
IO is the
yes.
king that point
That's
in
what I
time,
wanted to know.
So how he writes the story and how he of the crime having been committed, what evidence he collects and how he pieces together the evidence to prove it in court through a charge sheet.
Yeah.
That is very important.
Yeah.
So now with the new laws, the training means to teach them the issues that they should not give up. For example, now if they're picking up digital evidence, it is mandatory in law that you have to provide the chain of integrity of the digital evidence which is collected. It has to be mentioned in the charge sheet.
Yes.
Now, what does it mean to a normal like I can understand it, but what will it translate into the understanding of an ASI or a head constable who's investigating a maybe a hurt case?
True.
So he should understand कि मैंने what I have learned, I am able to translate it into on paper, so that it becomes not only in consonance with the law, but it also appeals to the judges when they see it, and finally helps the victim.
Yes, correct.
So आपके पास you may have a gamut of things, but what training does is teaches you how to use these to enable to do better investigation.
Yes.
Because the moment you know the finer nuances, you can anticipate what is the evidence required, how evidence will be appreciated in the court, what kind of evidence will be laughed upon or maybe ticked off. So if you do not understand that, and all your acts as a police officer, whether you're standing on the picket and recovering narcotics, or you're taking a person to the spot scene of crime and telling him to show where he has hidden, or somewhere else, or where he has hidden the weapon of offense, in each and everything, he has to be careful about that. He has to follow the BNSS.
Yes.
So the training is aimed at providing that kind of backup where we ensure that you don't make the mistakes on the necessary and the most important things.
That's true. That's true.
Additional DCP Achin Garg, you are one of the participants here for the training of the new laws on BNS and others. Could you tell us how is the training going on and what are you gathering from here?
Yes. So the government is planning to implement these laws from 1st July. So as a part of the capacity building measures and training of the participants, this training program has been organized. And I am organizing, I am one of the participants in this training program. So far it is going quite good. So we are learning about differences, what were there in the IPC, and what changes have been made in the new laws, what sections have been deleted, what new amendments have been made. So overall it's a holistic program and it is going quite well.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Hello, sir. You are additional DCP Nishant Gupta, Dwarka district. You are attending the training session here today at Rajinder Nagar. So could you tell us how did you find the training session in the first half, and what are the changes that you are seeing in both the laws, the older laws and the newer laws that have been introduced?
I have attended this session since morning. The session is very good, very informative. They have told us the differences that have come in the older law and the newer law. At present, the BNS is going on, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which defines the punishment for all the offences. They have also explained the new additions and where the punishment has been changed in the laws. This law is much better than the previous one because various sections which were not covered, the various offences which were not covered in the previous IPC have been covered here. The sections have been clubbed and it has become much easier to understand, and it's more comprehensive and easier to apply also.
Thank you so much.
So I also went through these handbooks. Basically, they are actually kind of clearing the concepts. If you have doubts, if you are confused about certain sections and certain how you're what is your next step the moment the crime occurs.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of very specific training is something that they like really required because the laws changed and they have a lot to learn. So,
Also, I felt that when we checked in the DPA, they did not have handbooks specific to
Yes.
learning investigation.
Yes.
What there was happening over there previously was that anybody would come and teach law will come with the entire compendium. And when it is such a fat book and very detailed info,
Yes.
then it is very difficult for them to follow.
True.
Okay, they follow, and due to practice and repeated efforts, they do understand. But I wanted to make it even simpler.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there may be certain aspects we are not teaching in these handbooks. That is, of course, a person who wants to know more, learn more, can always refer to the main act.
True.
And can learn okay, what the court's going to do, what the other.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of stakeholders. There is
Yes.
judiciary, there is prosecution, there is prison, there is jails. So
Yeah.
like we we have these apps like the CCTNS, and we have these programs like the ICJS.
yeah.
So everything needs to be integrated.
Yeah.
That part is done by NCRB, and we have our crime people who are the vertical who is
Yes,
looking
it's
after
really
crime. They are looking after into these things. So this is they've been doing this. Another thing we're doing is we're tying up with NFSU
Okay.
for teaching our guys how to use cameras, because what is happening is suddenly the digital evidence will now require you to use a camera.
Cameras
So
and,
nobody,
record.
many people do not understand how to take a picture, how to record the scene of crime, what they will say in the background,
Yeah.
what they should focus on, how should they have to treat the light aspect.
Yes.
So there can be a number of issues.
Yes.
So the crime scene photography during search and seizure, during scene of crime, during other aspects of recording a victim of a statement,
Sure.
a victim statement. So all those things will require use of photography and videography,
Yeah.
and that also needs to be. They also need to be trained. So we are 50 people we have identified when we've taken permission from CP sir, and we are going to tie up with NFSU Rohini. Of course, we tied up with NFSU Gujarat, but
Yeah.
they have handed over it to NFSU Rohini. And we will be doing a 3-day course, which is a paid course. And once these 50 odd people, sub-inspectors, inspectors learn, then again we will give them away to their respective units.
Yeah.
They can teach others.
Others, yes, because these will work as the solid evidence.
Bilkul.
In
And
the
they will be
court.
really helpful during investigation. So we can talk about learning the the act part
Yeah.
and the law
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
But these are practical things which one have to learn. You know?
Yes.
So this now the substantially how law has changed. Once these people understand,
Yeah.
they will be able to appreciate it much better.
Right, ma'am. Right. With this, we would like to end our conversation. It was such an enlightening session where you
Thank you so
told us
much.
about this training which is the most important component of policing.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you so
saying
much
that.
for talking to us, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.